So tell me what you think about like the food and how food affects, you know, the symptoms and, you know, and what impact that is happening on us ADHDers.
Yeah, okay, so we've got to loop back to something called MTHFR at the end of this, but foods are not all safe. Like we know there are, you know, mushrooms that you can take that can bump you off. We know that we know that there's things, the plant realm or the plant genome, you know, the whole species of plants. There's beneficial ones, medicinal ones, some that have great nutrients for our body, and the whole understanding of plants is really being unpacked, and there's a lot of folklore. Now, if you go back 100 years, you and I would have been catching up. We might have had some ancient wine. We might have had
guaranteed,
yes, some fruit and some veggies, and maybe an animal that had just been culled, or if we were choosing to be vegetarian, maybe not. Now, in the space of 100 years, we've now got faux foods. We've got faux meats. We've got chemicals used in foods like I've seen in my lifetime change. So an apple pie when I was 7 years old just had apple, sugar, flour that was milled, butter, and that was it. That was our apple pie. But now an apple pie, if you go to the frozen section of a supermarket, an apple pie's got 20 different ingredients, and 4 of which were the key things, but they're not even the main ingredients half the time. So we're bombarding our body with things that are not foods. So to think that a burger from, you know, big mainstream burger joint, no names mentioned, but there's a couple of them, and you can sit that down for 6 weeks and it won't even go off. That's happening because it's not a food. That's happening because it's got chemicals in it that's permitting it to last longer and taste better. And those chemicals, the synthetic ones, even the natural additives, have a major impact on how our genes respond, how our gut wall responds, and how agitated our brain gets from those foods.
Because that's one of the things I've heard quite often is that, you know, your mental clarity and everything comes from the gut, doesn't it? It's what you put into your gut and how the gut responds to that. So if you're putting all these chemicals in, of course that's going to go up into your brain and cause perhaps more heightened issues.
Exactly. So they call the gut the little tummy, the second brain or the little brain. And at the gut wall, there's a lot of neuro links that have a direct link from here up to my brain. So if I put something in there that my body's not comfortable with, it's going to agitate my nervous system incredibly. Now, a couple of the big offenders, and this came out with these professors, were casein, so that's the protein in dairy.
Yeah,
that can be a real problem, and maybe New Zealand also has that issue because it's a dairy country like this country. But also gluten. So glutamates. So gluten is a protein that's found on 4 different grains. It's highly inflammatory. We know it affects people's guts, head, and skin. So when I explain gluten sensitivity to people, it doesn't have to be an allergy. It can just be an intolerance or a sensitivity. I say to them it's going to affect you generally your head or your gut or your skin. Now, if it affects the gut, kids get amped, you know.
Yeah, you see it all the time,
Yeah, you see them come, teachers will tell you, they come in from morning tea and they can't sit down and concentrate, and that's often gluten stimulating them. As we get older, we get, we can't concentrate, or we get dulled emotions, or we get headaches and migraines.
That's exactly what I'm finding.
You're seeing the clusters of what's happening with people. Yeah.